Welcome back to Radically Rethinking Railways in Australia with your host, the Mad Professor. This is the second episode. If you missed the first, look for the link below. We started the series with the comment that everything you know about Australian railways is wrong, and gave an example of how one railway, the Luckiest Line, defied everything you thought you knew. Upending your thinking is the first point behind having this channel, and today we are going to cover more of why we need a channel like this. If you've spent as much time in libraries and government archives around Australia as your Mad Professor has, you'll realise that there is a far richer story to tell than the bleak one that you've been told over the years. The purpose of this channel is to change your mind in a positive way and change the false narratives, and there are many of them. The first one we must upend is that Australia is a special country. You can be proud of your country if you like, but if you ever want it to become better, which is true patriotism, you need to see it for what it is, with clear eyes. Australia is a middling country, not the best nor the worst. And that is a problem, as the middle is a comfortable place to be. It doesn't bring about change. We will see that with our railways, a spread of achievements, from leading the world to a laughingstock, and everything in between. We invented the first true multiple unit double-deck passenger train, as Sydney people know well. Yet Melbourne people lampooned the thought, and they scrapped their one sample train. We have been world-leading in creating ultra-long mining trains, with some of them using remote control. But so much of what we do is just middling. Some folk like to create a straw man, a poor man's argument. They say that we would have to be like Japan, with its clockwork railways and high population, or even that we would need to be like the UK if we want good railways. That is clearly not the case, though both countries are great places to learn from. We do not need these straw men to make that point. This channel will be looking at a wide range of countries and even examples within this country to argue for better. Another philosophical point to this channel is that rail's wounds are self-inflicted. You probably believe the gamut of narratives about why Australian railways are not as good as they need to be. You may believe in a road lobby, an evil cabal who moved all the money for Australian railways over to roads. We will look in more detail in coming episodes about this myth. You may believe that Australia lacks population, or this weird idea called density. It is too silly for words. Or you believe that Australia is not wealthy enough for good railways. Really? We will look at a poor country that has lately much better than us by admitting its poverty. Much easier to do when you know you are poor than when you're only pretending to be poor. But these false narratives need people to tell them and people to sell them. If you are a rail enthusiast or a transport advocate, this means you. The narratives don't do their job if they just sit untold inside a book on a shelf. And the people who need these stories to exist want them out there. It lets them off the hook. Which people? You can guess, I'm sure. Your political leaders, bureaucrats, even unions. This is, of course, hiding in plain sight. But people react to being told this in different ways. Part of being in the middle is being in the middle of history. We sit between the past and the future. To understand where you sit, you need to look back at the past of Australian railways, but not in a romantic way, and look as well to the future, using all of what we can see and predict. We are now in a period of massive spending on railways in Australia, the likes of which we didn't see for decades. When all the building is done, we will ask ourselves, what was stopping us doing this before? It was our own beliefs and stories that made us unwilling to do those things we knew we needed to do. This channel will look at a whole lineup of false narratives and what they have done. In coming episodes, we will look at the needless death of a railway, case for mainline electrification, and more. Stay tuned for further episodes. Look forward to seeing you then.